I feel like doing the right thing at the right time is the hard part here, because these are not tactics that are scripts that you can use all the time, that you just say, oh, I got this one in my bag. Every time the prospect says this, I say this, and it's ready to go. So we wanted to bring you on here as our expert. You've been doing Sandler for 31 years. How do you know when to use these tactics at the right time in the right situation?
Well, I'll give you another one of my favorite Sandler rules and insights is if you think it or you feel it, say it gently. That's one. And another one that I always think about is if you want to know the future, you need to bring it to the present. So let's do the first one. If you think it or feel it, say it gently. So, for example, negative reverse sell. If for whatever reason I just didn't feel like I was connecting with my prospect, I might want to drop back and I might want to say, "Hey, Mike, yeah, if I can, I just think that can I ask you a tough question?" And you're going to go, "Well, yeah, of course." I think that last point just didn't register. And I'll take responsibility for that. But I kind of have a feeling that what I just said, maybe you didn't agree with. Is that a fair statement? And I think that's where the guts really comes into play. So that if I think it or I feel it, the rule is to say it gently. So how do I bring it up? And I think, again, since we're not mind readers, that we really have to be very aware of that situation. And I think being in that present moment is so important. We don't talk a lot about that as salespeople because a lot of times, as salespeople, we're thinking about what to say next. We're thinking about a future event. And I think this is a really important discipline of how do I become aware and staying in the moment. And if I can stay in the moment, and if I can really be attuned with what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, I can say it. As long as I say it nicely, they're going to respond. I mean, seriously, think about it, Mike. If I said to you, "Hey, Mike, can I bring up an insight that I have, or can I, share with you something that I sense maybe I'm out, but I'm wrong here, but can I share with you that?" They're going to go, "Of course, yeah, sure." So I think this is the idea of being present, being aware, and again, let's take so much of the emphasis over selling someone.
Yeah.
The idea here in this stage, I think, whether it's your discovery stage, your pain stage, is let's make sure the relationship is solid. And secondly, if I am in the pain part of the submarine, the behavior, then I want to make sure that I'm asking some pain funnel questions, I'm digging deeper, and I'm really learning more about the prospect, the impact of the situation, the cost of the situation. Does that help, Mike, on the behavior side?
Yeah, I think so. I'll add a couple of things to it. But what I heard there is you're right. Absolutely being present, being self aware of the situation. That if you're talking and you're worried so much about what's happening next, that you can't listen and you can't get those little whispers. Sometimes these things are just whispers. You get this hint or this gut feeling. You're like, I don't feel like this is going very well right now. And sometimes we just plow through it as salespeople rather than saying, wait, time out. Let's call it timeout. Let's ask them the question and see if what I was feeling is right. So I think for me, I'll give you 3 quick ones for each one. Curiosity curve is when I feel like I'm getting more excited than the prospect. When I feel like I'm over talking, I'm going too fast. I need to pull back, slow down, and like we're missing something. If I close the sale or we run out of time here, this is not going to be a good call. I need to slow down and reset. Negative reverse selling is when I don't think they're ready to buy, or I don't think, I don't know if what I'm going to bring up next is of value to them. So rather than saying, hey, wouldn't a warranty be great, and going positive, I need to use a negative reverse here to say, you're probably not interested in talking about the warranty at all. That's my safe way of kind of testing the waters and backing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then reversing is just anytime I don't know if answering the question is in my best interest or if I don't have enough information. Reversing is sort of just an always on for me. It is certainly just double checking what I think is true. It is really every time I feel like I should probably double check that. Those are my three gauges for when to use these tactics. What about you? Anything else you'd add to that?
Yeah, Mike, I would. The curiosity curve is there's always something else. There's always another question. Or I just want to make sure that that prospect is telling me exactly what it is that what they want. I want to make sure they're talking more than I'm talking. You're right. Salespeople have happy ears. We listen and then we respond with some product knowledge. Reversing to me is if you really think about it, and Stephen Covey said this, that the highest form of communication is empathic listening, and that's what reversing really does to me. Is that I'm able to ask those questions of impact. I'm able to ask those questions of cost. So it's one of those that as long as, again, the customer is talking, the prospect is talking more, I'm getting information. And remember, you have to remember too that 30% of any sales call after at 60 minutes is 18 minutes of talking. I'm still doing talking. It's not that we just sit back and we're just asking questions. We're speaking too, but it is a mutual dialogue, mutually beneficial dialogue that's going on. Negative reverse is, to me, it's validating. Remember, you've got three types of prospects. You've got a positive prospect, you have a neutral prospect, and you have a negative prospect. We're using Newton's law of physics. Any object that's in motion will remain in motion. And on a sales call, you can't see it, but your prospect is always moving. Your body language, your tonality, everything that's going on, they're in their mind, they're thinking positive. They liked what you said. They're neutral. They're not real sure. And maybe you see that in a face inflection, or they go a little bit negative. So again, that's why we really have to be aware. So when you really get these tactics, and again, we talk about this all the time in sales mastery. This is why we come back. These are the techniques that take literally years to work on. I don't care how smart one is, right? So for example, if someone says, "Hey, Jim, I like the fact that you can do blah, blah, blah." Well, how do most of us react? We react, that's a positive prospect. We like that. We say, yeah, and it can also do blah, blah, blah too. So rather than say the latter, why don't I just come back and say, "Hey, Mike, really appreciate the fact that you like that. Hey, tell me, I don't suppose you have an example of how you could use that?" And then now that's all of a sudden when they come. So to me, the negative reverse is validating that what you said, in this case, a positive comment, then I can get you to talk more.